Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Aerialist podcast. Hope you guys are doing well this Christmas season. If you go to the show notes, there's a link to register for the free mini course by Wrap Your Head Around Silks. So it's a free little gift for you if you want to grab something for yourself while you're buying gifts for everyone else. So today I have Erin Shapiro. Erin is a student of mine. She has been a hobbyist for about 8 years. She is a wonderful mother of 2 and a special needs teacher. I asked her on the podcast today because she suffered a patellar dislocation on silks in front of me just this September, and she has been in recovery. I waited a little while till I asked her to be on the podcast because I know the whole thing was really traumatizing, and it is a rare thing to happen. But she tells the whole story of how the day went and then the aftermath of it. I just think it's so interesting to look at these different stories of people's experiences in the air. And it's really informative and important to share these stories. So without further ado, let's hear from Erin Shapiro. Let's get started. Okay, listeners, this is Erin Shapiro. She is a teacher, an aerial hobbyist. I have been her teacher for many years now, and she just loves her aerial practice.
I do.
And yeah, you love it. And you are a special needs middle school teacher, which equates to being a saint in my book, like an absolute saint. And she's a mom too. She's a mom of 2 great kids. She teaches during the day. She tutors. She does all the things. She coaches, football for the league at her school. And then she comes to aerial class. It's her hobby. It's her exercise.
Yep.
And a little while ago, a couple months ago, Erin unfortunately had an accident on the silks. She actually did nothing wrong. She was going into a slack drop, and she did nothing wrong. But a very rare thing happened. I think it's a bit of a freak accident, mostly. She dislocated her patella, correct? Am I right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and this one I don't really have to it's interesting because most people I talk to about their injuries, I wasn't actually there,
Oh, true.
This one,
you were there for the whole thing.
I was there. I felt it. I tasted it. I felt the energy. It was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Erin, let's dive into that, and then we'll go back into your momhood and your aerial practice and bring it all together after you tell this story of what happened just a couple months ago. And then we just kind of want to hear what's happened since then.
Okay. So this was Labor Day weekend. So this is now, 3 months later. I'm like, I can do math. How many months is that? Labor Day weekend. And we had just learned the slack drop. I don't even know the name of the slack drop, but
I don't know the name. So basically you're in what is commonly known as the loop split, where the legs are in these loops and your hands are connecting all of it. And then you sit on the loops, you egg beater your legs, and then the slack is those loops. And you just kind of sit down in a straight body position, feet together, legs together. And Erin had done this how many times before the accident?
Only once. So I had wrapped it a couple times, and then I had dropped it once. And then, so I guess that was whatever the class was before. So this happened on Saturday of Labor Day weekend. So Monday before, I had dropped it once. And then...
Okay, and before that, with the whole situation, she would just walk it down. She did it many times where she walked it down. Then the class before, you must have dropped it once.
Yes.
And then on a Saturday, this is the day.
Yes. So the Saturday, I went up. We actually, ironically, had a conversation in the warm-up about how, because I have had knee pain before, And I haven't had any knee pain for a while. I strengthened my glutes and did some other things that then helped. And we happened to be having a conversation about how my knees have been fine since I did all that. It's so odd, sort of ironic foreshadowing that happened. And I went up and wrapped it and dropped into it. And it was sort of like this split second of like, yeah, I did it. And then it was like immediate pain. And I looked at my knee and you could see that the kneecap was not where it belonged. It was to the side, on the outside of my leg. Fortunately, I was not very high up. And everybody always asks, did you hit the ground? Everybody assumes that I fell to the ground or like something dramatic happened. And it really wasn't dramatic. I mean, the aftermath was dramatic, but the actual incident was not dramatic. Yeah. Everybody expects this story to be like, I rapped and I fell and I tumbled to the ground. And that was not what it was. I set it up. I did my usual, am I good? Am I good? And you're like, yes.
Yeah, and you had my eyeballs.
Fine.
Yeah, we were watching.
And dropped it like normal. It didn't feel weird. It was... that whole part of it was not the big dramatic thing that people assume that it was when they hear I got hurt in silks.
Well, those people are the non-aerialists, right?
Yes. And you know what's also crazy about that whole experience of having to explain the injury to people is people's reactions. I got a lot of people going like, oh, like it was to be expected. Or,
oh, that's annoying.
Yeah. Or like I had somehow asked for it. I'm like thinking to myself, would you react this way if I told you that I play in a soccer league on the weekends and I had hurt myself playing soccer? No, it was really interesting and really difficult actually to deal with the aftermath of the injury and feeling really like traumatized about it. And then people not understanding the emotional piece. Like, yes, I got hurt, but I also got hurt doing something that I really love. And it was sort of scary. And then with people reacting like that, it was really an interesting experience to process the aftermath. I know I sort of went out of order there because I didn't actually explain the rest of the injury process, but
that's really interesting. Yeah. It's important for you to bring that up because Erin was filming herself. You know how we all just set up a selfie video to look at it later. She filmed it and she didn't look at it herself, but she sent it to me to see what I thought. And Erin literally did nothing wrong. She did nothing wrong. She did not fall out of the drop when it caught her. She just, her kneecap popped. It just, the torque of the fabric and the force. And we'll talk about Erin's body too, because, you know, everybody has different imbalances and who knows. I think if she were to do this 100 times, it might only happen once. That was my assessment when I saw the video. It wouldn't happen all the time. I mean, important to say, after this, I consulted with my girlfriends who are all professional aerialists and they have a lot of experience teaching. I think between the 7 of us, we must have like decades of teaching like between us. And I asked everyone, have you ever been in the room for a knee dislocation? And the answer was no. So it's rare. It's really rare.
Yeah, it's almost worse. Because if there was some note where it was like, oh, I definitely see what you did wrong here, then I can avoid it. And so now it's sort of this weird thing where it's like, yes, it's a freak accident and I'm glad I didn't do anything wrong. But if I had done something wrong, then you would have a clear answer for me as to how to prevent it. Not that I think I will ever drop that drop again, but just in the future with other things. So that's an interesting piece of it too, where you don't want to have made a mistake that caused this to happen to yourself. But the flip side is that you did nothing wrong and it was a freak thing. So then I'm anticipating that there's going to be anxiety around that when I'm able to come back. Yeah.
And I would assume so because, I'm watching the video. Erin's not a professional dancer or a gymnast. And her, along with many, many, many of my students, are starting as adults and learning as they go. And one of the things that I'm finding with so many of my adult students who are sitting at a desk, or, they're doing really important jobs during the day, they have imbalances from their life. And Ariel does a really good job of putting a spotlight on what those problems are. Really good job of it. If you're super tight in your hips and your knees are bothering you, and you go to a doctor, they want to give you a cortisone shot. No, you've got some imbalances. All of us do, and we need to work on them as we get older so that we're not crippled, at 65 years old or whatever. I think this audience knows this more than any other audience. This is very common with this population and this community. But everybody that I see in my classes who doesn't do this professionally has issues with microbending their knees. They have issues with sometimes engaging their quads when their legs are trying to be straight and they're not.
Right.
So when Erin dropped into this and I'm watching the video, I'm like, okay, well, if you engage your legs a little bit, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the cause or the effect or anything. It's just like, okay, there's some things that we can do to safeguard. But I feel like Erin's body, just wanted to go out that day, and it was the perfect angle and the fabric was in the perfect spot, perfect storm of things.
Yeah.
Because, and I'll tell my version of when you fell. So she fell. We were like, yay!
Yeah.
And then she started shrieking.
Yeah.
And I was not the first one to, because I was kind of far away. I think the other ladies were closer. And she's basically in egg beaters, but her knee, I thought before they diagnosed it, that the whole knee was out. I thought the entire
it looked
head
really,
of the tibia and fibula.
It looked really disgusting.
Crazy. I mean, her patella was at a 45-degree angle to the outside, and her whole leg was getting pulled to the outside. Like,
yeah, it was.
Her knee was getting pulled in, and the foot was getting pulled out.
It was really gnarly, and you're stuck in there, and it hurts, and it doesn't look right. Obviously, it's the ambulance, the people in the ambulance, the EMTs kept saying like leg deformity, and I think because they gave me we called an ambulance, obviously.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Okay.
Let me tell go back. So the fabric caught her. We got excited for like a half a second. She started shrieking. Yeah. And so me and all the other ladies, I think there may like 4 other women in the room who are all very close. We try to get under, like a couple of them got underneath her so she could sit on the shoulder. And then the other ones were unwrapping the egg beaters, trying to get it off. And we were trying to get her down to lay on the mat without it hurting more, but how could it not? Mm-hmm. So now she's laying on the crash mat on her back, and like Jerry, the person who owns the gym, rushes in with pillows, and we're trying to keep everything from moving, but your leg is so obviously dislocated.
Yeah. Ugh.
And
so gross.
I texted Erin when I asked her, I was like, is it too soon? She's like, I'm good. I'm like, okay, because I really want you to tell your story. I think it's a great story, and it's just really good to add to this body of knowledge that has been created. So you're on the mat, and I would say that you're at like a 10 out of 10 on pain for like the whole time we're waiting for the ambulance.
It was high pain, and then just so terrified because any slight movement increased the pain to a point where I was like, I didn't think it could hurt more. And then someone would try and help adjust, or they would move a little bit as they were holding my leg in place, and it would like, the pain would escalate. And, you're looking at your leg and it is deformed. So, and they're calling an ambulance, and just the stress level is so high, in addition to the pain. And then you have the EMTs coming in. Then they're like cutting my leggings open. And I remember I was laying there, and I wasn't going to look because I knew it was going to be gross. And one of the girls was like, when they cut my pants. And another one who was on the floor with me was like, don't look at your leg. look at me. Don't look at your leg. Look right here. Like, don't look over there. It was significant. You know, other people I've talked to who are like, oh, I had that injury. I just popped it back in place myself. Their kneecaps are loose. So there's a couple people at work that have had this injury before, and they can lean down and touch their kneecap, and their kneecap moves so much. Their kneecap is super loose. That is not my issue. Even the orthopedist was like, no, your kneecaps aren't loose. Like, the chances of this happening again are not high. This is not an issue of that those ligaments holding the patella in place are loose. That is not what this is. Well,
that's why it was so painful, because actually your legs are tight.
Yes.
Generally.
So the amount of force to get my patella over to that angle, and I did tear that ligament that holds the patella to the inside of the femur. That's the ligament that I tore, which I guess is the common ligament to tear if you have this injury. So that part is not unusual, but it's just interesting, the variation that you have some people that have this injury and they slam it back in place and they don't even need physical therapy or go to the doctor. And for me, I mean, I'm still in pain. Like, I can't bend it all the way, and it's better, but it's not 100%. Like, I can't imagine doing a knee climb or something like that. There's no way, because I can't bend it.
Right. Because you can't squeeze it.
Right.
Okay. Before you get into your recovery, okay, before you go there, it was probably the longest 20 minutes of your life.
Yeah. Well, I imagine for everyone in the room.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I don't know how your births were comparatively. How is this pain compared to your births? Can you compare those for me?
I don't know if there's a direct comparison. I mean, I did have epidurals with both of my children, and I think this pain was worse than correction. I know the pain was worse than the contractions before I had the epidural. I mean, definitely. Plus that fear factor that we talked about, where there's like this intense panic, you know, and they gave me, so on the floor of the gym, the EMTs put an air cast on to hold it in place. They did not put it back themselves. And they gave me fentanyl. While I was laying on the ground, they gave me an IV injection of fentanyl, and it helped, but it was still so painful. And and it didn't do anything to like calm me down. That was not something that happened with the fentanyl. I was still super stressed, and they kept checking my pulse in my foot, and they kept checking for sensation when we were on the floor, when I was in the ambulance, when we arrived at the hospital. So every time they checked for that, I was like, holy shit. Oh, I don't know if I can say shit.
You can cuss you can cuss your face off on this podcast. Don't worry.
So I don't have to like repeat that whole thing. Okay. So I'll try and watch my like sailor mouth for this though. So
no, we love it. Bring it on.
So
we love it.
Every time they checked, it was another, wave of stress, because I was like, they're checking for my pulse. Like, they're worried about circulation. They're worried about nerve damage. They're like, can you feel this? Can you feel this? I'm like, yes. They kept talking on the radio about, we have a patient coming in with a, kneecap deformity. And I remember I'm like, sort of loopy, but mostly panicked. And I asked them, I was like, can you stop calling it that? I was like, can you stop saying that? I said, I know that's what it's called, but it freaks me out every time you say it. And they were like, I'm sorry, but that's, we have to tell them what's coming. I was like, okay. I'm like crying. It's a disaster.
Aww.
Oh my gosh. Other fun story about the EMTs. One of the men, they were at lunch before they got the call to come. And they were at lunch. One of the EMT's daughter does aerial silks. And he was explaining what his daughter does as her hobby to the other people on the team in the ambulance. They were having a conversation about silks before they got the call. How random is that? And then
that is so random.
And then he was like, I'm not going to tell my wife about this call.
Yeah, right.
Because it was like a teenager, like 16, 17-year-old, his daughter. But how weird is that? I don't know.
No, that's weird.
Anybody that does silks other than obviously the people I've met through doing it, So how random is that?
That is very random for like regular population of the world. So Erin, I was going to say that it was probably the longest 20 minutes of your life, but it was top like
I can imagine.
top 10 for me too, because we're just like, we love you and we're helpless. Yeah. Like we can't do anything. And at least Jacqueline, who was holding your leg, I think she felt a little bit more useful, but I felt 100% not useful. I'm just like, we called the ambulance. We're just waiting.
Yeah.
And so all of us started like anxiety pacing, like outside of the house.
I can imagine.
Like we're just like, oh, and they finally come. And I'm like, can you guys move faster? They know that you're not like bullet wound bleeding out. Right. So like, this is another day for them. I don't blame them. This is their jobs. But, we're having so much anxiety and we know that you're in pain. And like one more second of it is just like too much to bear.
Right. You're like, can you be like less calm? Is that possible?
Can you guys like act like it's not every day that you deal with this? So of course, like two of us follow Erin and follow in our cars behind the ambulance, and like, it's COVID, you can't get in, it's just like, you just feel helpless as fuck. And you're in there all loopy. We were just so happy by the time you were like on drugs. Yeah. So happy, like
they gave me,
like at least you were in
what
peace.
It was. They gave me something strong in as soon as they got me out of the ambulance. They gave me something else on top of the fentanyl, and then they reset it like before I even got into a regular area. The doctor came over and was like, you gave her the pain meds? And they're like, yep. And he's like, okay, I'm going to reset your leg now. And I was like, what? Like here?
Well, what did that feel like?
It was awful for like a split second, but then it felt better because it was where it belonged.
Did it just feel like pressure? Because you had drugs in you. It's not like you could feel everything.
Like it was, all right. I felt like I was less whatever they gave me in like the ambulance bay area did calm me down. Cause I was like, whoa, that one was stronger. But it's still
this other woman that I interviewed, and she's awesome. Her name's Paige. They call it in Australia the green whistle.
Oh, the green whistle.
I don't know. She's like, because she had an accident, she had a huge accident. Like somebody's like, don't worry, the green whistle's coming, and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
What? Why would whistle be the?
I don't know. I have to find these things out. But okay, so basically, Erin has gone through the process. She had to go see a orthopedic surgeon, and they decided that you don't need surgery, correct?
Especially because, so really for this injury, supposedly what I was told was they don't really want to do surgery unless you have a really loose kneecap. And so because mine are not loose and I'm not really at a high risk of it happening again, because that's the other thing is once it happens once, you are at a higher risk of it happening again because things are stretched out. Given that the patellar groove, like where the patella sits, it's not shallow and my kneecap is not loose, like I can't really push it around. I mean, you should see, I don't know if you've ever seen anybody do this, but I've seen now a couple people just show me their loose kneecaps, and it's like,
really loose,
like where you go, oh, like you have to control your reaction because it's kind of like a lot. Like that is not what my kneecaps do. And those people that I talked to, it was a coworker and a parent that watched me coaching football with this stupid knee brace on, like hobbling around.
Oh, and of course, God. Like, okay, so wait, if you were to take like an estimate of how many times you've had to tell the story.
Yeah, a lot. I don't even know. Like, so I work.
Would it be in the 30s and 40, like 30, 40 times?
It would be way more than that because working at a school. Okay. So I would walk by teachers and office people and they go, oh my God, what happened to your knee? And then it's also the students. So every class I had to explain it. Running into hobbling around and seeing former students. They're like, what happened to your knee? parents while they watched me hobble around and coach football with the like leg immobilizer, like the big one. Yeah, it was an adventure. So I can't even.
If you really, really loved attention, it would have been great, but you don't. You don't want that type of attention.
And especially at the beginning, like it was really hard for me to talk about it without crying. You know, it was traumatic.
Yeah.
And so I missed a couple days of work and I tried to explain via email, like not a lot of details, but I said I was hurt. There was some misunderstanding about like how seriously I was hurt. And I came back and people were like, wait, what happened to you? And so I can barely get through this.
Is that a cat?
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Yes. Shh. I'm like trying to hide from them so that they won't do that.
That cat is really loud.
It's because I'm in this foam thing and she stuck her head in.
Erin is so committed to this podcast recording. She like encased herself in like a foam mattress that she usually puts on the, it's like a foam topper.
Yeah, that the kids use for a sleepover. Because we don't have carpet.
Committed.
So you can't sleep on the floor without the egg thingy. Right. So I'm like encased in it right now.
I love it. I love when I send that instruction letter. This is what happens. I wish everybody would do that.
I was all stressed. I thought I was going to your house and like you had to set up. And then when you were like, oh, find a space in your house, I was like, oh no, a quiet place? What? Is she out of her mind? I was like, should I go in my car? No, it's going to be cold out there. I'm like, seriously, I was trying to be a good podcast interviewee. You know?
Well,
I was trying to follow the assignment.
You do it from home because then you don't have to go anywhere.
It's true.
That's easy.
That is true.
Yeah. No, it's the pandemic. We do everything remote.
Yeah.
We do everything remote. There's ups and downs, but it's like I'm interviewing people all over the world. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's like anywhere.
It is. I'll have to have.
You're here in California.
Yes. I'll have to have Frank take a picture of me in my like foam cocoon and send it to you so you can see how insane I look right now.
Oh no, it'll get posted with the actual episode if you do that. So just be aware. Okay. So you're walking around, you're limping around with your brace. Mm-hmm. Everyone's asking you. Yes. Most of them are like,
It was an interesting mix. Some people understanding, a lot of people reacting as like, oh, like that kind of thing. Yeah, it was
like you asked for it.
Yeah. And then that's upsetting and that's pissing me off. So I'm like upset because I keep having to relive this experience. Because when you go, oh, I got hurt, nobody just doesn't ask the follow-up question. So there's no way to just go, oh, I dislocated my kneecap. And people don't just go, oh, that sucks. They want the details. So it's over and over again. And what's interesting is it was more adults than students that would have that sort of shitty reaction where it's like, I asked for it.
Yeah, it's so shitty. It's so shitty.
It's also the adults were the ones that were like, so you're never going to do that again. Right? The expectation was that like now I would not go up. And it's funny because one of them asked in front of students and the students were like, of course she's going to do it again. She loves it. It was like a weird thing. She'll be fine. Like coming to my defense. That's why like kids are sometimes cooler than adults.
I can only think of a couple activities that might elicit the same response. Like maybe jumping out of a plane.
Yeah.
Like you asked for it. Like downhill skiing, maybe.
Like, I don't know. But
not even that. Not necessarily.
Yeah. It was really interesting and infuriating at the same time. And it wasn't one or two. It wasn't like, oh, that person's a jerk. It was
I understand.
Bunch of people.
I'm so sorry. But if you think about, for example, a friend I used to work with, we were on tour together. Long story short, he went scuba diving. We were on a boat. Half the people went scuba diving. Half the people snorkeled. They drag him up on the boat from the bottom of the ocean and his shoulder is out. You can imagine the pain once you get out of the water and gravity starts
pulling on it. Absolutely.
And the tank.
Yeah.
The tank that's on his back. His shoulder, Erin, I'm not kidding you when I say there was no angle to the shoulder. It was from the neck. It was just straight down.
Oof. Yikes.
It dislocated. They had to yank that tight ass wetsuit off of him.
That is so awful.
He had dislocated before, and I think that somebody on the boat, with his permission, put it back in because it wasn't a new thing for him.
Okay.
So I think that the pain, no matter what, is going to be hard, but it's not, like he dislocates his shoulder sometimes. And I still remember that day, but I have to say, I bet you when he goes home and he says, I dislocated my shoulder while scuba diving, 75 or 80% of the people wouldn't be like, you're never going to scuba dive again, right? Like, no one's going to say that really. Not really.
Right.
Or soccer, or football, or even gymnastics.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, and that sucks because it's just like the mentality around it's just people don't understand and they don't see it the same way.
It does. The other thing is for people who that their passion isn't being active, that lack of understanding too. So people who are athletic and their outlet and their hobby is being physically active, like they understood the other piece of that is like now the thing that you love to do and the thing that helps regulate you emotionally and whatever, you can't do. And that's another big loss. It's not just that I'm hurt and I don't feel good and it's annoying, that now the thing that I do for myself to, reset and have time for me and that outlet, I don't have. And so the gravity of all of the pieces together was a lot. Mm-hmm. And then you have to tell the story over and over again, which is hard enough. And then you have these odd, like mixed reactions where there's some people that really get it and can just say like, that's so horrible and I'm so sorry. That really sucks. And that must be really hard. And then you have other people that are like, oh, you got injured. That's such a bummer. So that was really hard to navigate too, not just the people who were like, well, you sort of asked for it doing this crazy hobby, but also just that if you don't have that kind of a hobby, you don't get it. You don't get the loss,
Right. It's a loss of the actual exercise. There's a loss of community because everyone I know who is an aerialist is also in it for that reason.
Right. You're talking about...
We're not on islands by ourselves.
Yeah. And as a mom, to have the outlet, I go out of the house 2 days a week to do this thing for me with people that I'm close to. This is, I think it's coming up on 8 years of Silk since I first started. So probably 7, it's like 7.5 years total. So probably 7 years with you specifically. That's and to have that outlet as a mom where you're constantly having to run around and do things for other people. And now that outlet is gone. And even the outlet of getting to get up early. I say it like it's like a gift. I hate getting up early. I like to sleep, but you can't even do like just regular exercise either to have that outlet. And that's huge for me. I learned that in the pandemic. I mean, with teaching from home and everybody's home and you're like on constantly, being a working mom and a stay-at-home mom simultaneously, was so brutal. And I would end every day crying, just like a crazy person. And then I realized how much exercise would help if I got up and I exercised before I dealt with the crazy day. I did better. So you come to this, I mean, I knew it helped, but this was significant, like a significant difference. So you start to realize like really what you need for your mental health, not just physical health, which is important too. And then it goes away. So you don't have that.
In such a dramatic
yes.
way.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was sort of like a layered experience processing that at the beginning, and then just the constant reliving is rough. but obviously that piece of it is calmed down as I'm able to talk about it right now, and I haven't cried.
No, you're doing great. And you know yourself well enough to know that it wasn't too soon for you to talk about it. For my listeners out there. So Erin is in this trio of girls who they've been taking together for so long, and they have this ritual where oh my God, that cat is so loud. It's okay. I'm just like, holy moly, I've never heard such a loud cat.
It's funny because it doesn't sound that loud on my end. I think it's because of this ridiculous like foam cave.
No, but you know what? Your sound is excellent. So don't worry about it.
Thank you.
It's okay. Yeah. Erin, they have like a little conference outside by the car after class. So sometimes it would just be the four of us, like me and the three of them in class, and I would be leaving. And I know you guys would never kick me out, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to leave you guys because obviously you guys have stuff to talk about.
You are always invited to the Jan Friends. We told you that.
They call it the Jan Friends, like Jan Brady, because in my program, I had like girls who were more advanced and then girls who were more beginner. And so
girls in the middle.
Children.
Yeah, we're in the middle.
Girls in the middle.
You were the hardest on us.
I am hard on you guys.
It's okay. It made us better aerialists. We'll take it. We'll take it.
That group that was more beginner than you, I think what happened in those years, because a lot of those students are now more intermediate, obviously, but I just had a couple girls right in a row who were just so like not whiny, but like a little bit like my foot hurts. And I was at a time in my life, people say that when I was getting divorced, I was a really hard teacher.
It was a hard time for you. So
yeah, but I was not taking any, my customer service was really not there.
That was when you would show that bleeding eyes picture on your computer. Do you remember?
I know. I would show the bleeding eyes picture from, what is it?
It's from
Kill Bill 2. Kill Bill 2, the Asian girl that bleeds from her eyes when she dies. I was like, this is what my face looks like when you guys microbend your knees.
And don't point your toes.
And don't point your toes. Yeah. So that was during that time. And the girls right underneath you guys, when it comes to level, they were just whining about some shit. And I was like, I ended up just being nice to them about it because I didn't want to fucking hear it. And so the three of these ladies were like, why do they get treated like it's super easy? You were so hard on us. And then the Jan Brady thing came in, and then now it's stuck, and I can't escape it. So, they have a very close relationship, and that time that they have twice a week to be away from their partners and kids and really just carve out time for themselves. It's all in one big ball of yarn.
Yeah.
There's no separation. And so it is very challenging. You lost, for at least right now, your time with your community, your ability to work out, which helps lower your stress, to carve out time for yourself, even the time that's in the car.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The time that you're driving there and driving back. I mean, all moms know that every second that you have time for yourself, it's really precious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you've kind of lost that for the meantime. So catch us up on your recovery and how it's feeling right now.
So the first stages, I had to wear an immobilizer. So my leg was straight all the time. And then there was it's such a pain. Fortunately, I've been lucky. I haven't had any medical issues or major injuries where I've had to deal with the hoops of insurance. This is my first real experience. I mean, I had children, so obviously there's all those things. But, you go to your regular doctor, because I have an HMO. So you go to the regular doctor and they go, oh, yep, it was dislocated. The hospital says so. Now I'm going to put in a referral for an orthopedist. You can't just go. Even though the hospital put your leg back the way it was supposed to be, you still have to go to your normal doctor. And it's not like they have appointments right away. So it's sort of a slow process to get started. And at the hospital, when I asked the doctor there, I was like, what is the process like? I mean, like when, what are my rules? Like, what am I allowed to do and not allowed to do? I was looking for some sort of instructions on follow-up. He was like, well, you don't need crutches because it doesn't hurt that much when you stand on it. Meanwhile, I'm on pain meds, by the way. So of course it didn't hurt that much when I stood on it in the hospital. And he told me, he was like, I wouldn't, do any intense workouts this week. That was what he told me. So I was like, oh, maybe it's like really intense at the beginning and then it heals quickly because now it's back in place. I was really confused by what he said, but he's the doctor, right? So I'm not going to question him. Meanwhile, it hurts like hell when I get home and the pain meds have worn off because he didn't give me a prescription. He was like, you just need Advil. So I'm like, a week? This guy's out of his mind. There's no way I would try to do anything like within a week because it was really painful. So then I go to my doctor. She goes, no, you should probably have crutches. And here's a prescription for pain meds, which actually the insurance wouldn't pay for. I had to pay for it. They were like, nah, you don't need it, which was another sort of,
what?
Yeah. And the other crazy thing is like, I kept calling and they're like, no, we're waiting for more information from your insurance. And I was like, are you kidding? Like, I'm miserable. I cannot sleep. And they're like, we're so sorry. And then I called, I think it was like the third time I called where she was like, you can just pay out of pocket. It'll be, $22. I was like, hold up. I've been waiting for like 3 days when I could have just paid 20 freaking dollars. Like, I will pay the money.
That's obnoxious. That's obnoxious.
Yeah. So I was like, are you kidding? And why is it so inexpensive to get pain meds? Like, that's a whole separate other topic. Like,
oh no.
It's so weird. So I paid for the pain meds. Then I'm in the big immobilizer and I see the orthopedist and he's like, okay, it's time to get one that will bend. And I get a referral for the brace. I'm like, can't I just order it on Amazon? He's like, well, you can, but we'll put in a referral and insurance will pay for it. And that was a whole thing because I had to go to a certain place and then schedule that. And meanwhile, like, it's a pain in the ass to get time off of work anywhere. But when you're a teacher, you have to get a sub. When one class misses, it throws off all the lesson plans so that the classes aren't at the same place, which makes more work for you. It's like a nightmare to schedule. On top of, I was coaching football because I had already committed to it. And there were 1 million kids signed up, so I couldn't really back out. So it was like a total zoo. So I go finally to get this new brace, and they put in the referral for the wrong one.
Oh my God.
I was like ready to burn the building down. I was like, are you kidding? Really? So I ended up finding it on Amazon and just buying it on Amazon like I wanted to in the beginning.
So at this point, when you're getting the second brace, how long time has gone?
That is such a good question. So you're supposed to be in the immobilizer for only 10 days. And it was definitely more than that because I couldn't go without the brace. So maybe we were pushing 3 weeks before I finally got the right brace.
Oh, God.
So then I was having...
That's obnoxious.
Because it would, even in the immobilizer, it would buckle. Like, I'd be standing there teaching and it would just sort of give out. And I would sort of jerk off to the side, not fall down. I have this giant brace on and all the kids in the room would be like, those poor kids are so stressed out. And then I'm trying to sit a lot. And I have some really amazing coworkers. And so they would grab my lunch for me and go get me ice and tell me to sit down and, nag me into submission because it's hard. You can't sit. It's not a desk job. Teaching is moving around and standing up and, putting on the show however many periods a day, which is hard to do when you're in pain and, hobbling around. But fortunately, working with really considerate people, having good friends there, and the students were really sweet and were nagging me to oh, I'll do that. I'll pass that out. But it was a lot to juggle. And then having it be difficult to get all the medical stuff done. was really frustrating. And then, so I had referral to physical therapy. That's another frustrating thing. This experience has been annoying.
Oh my God.
So they won't let you schedule all your PT at once. So you can't just schedule it all ahead of time. They're also the last appointment's at like 4 or something like that. And technically...
Oh, so you're just like breaking all of like the traffic rules to get to your PT.
So I'm flying to PT in like my off period, but then I can't miss. I can't miss practice. I can't miss games. So I would fly to PT and then fly back so that I could do practice and a couple of the times go straight into a game. I'm like hobbling around in practice, holding a bag of ice to my leg as I'm giving them instructions. It was the most chaotic situation. Like so chaotic.
And when did football season end?
Mid-October. So it was like a month and a half. It felt like way longer.
No, but it was when you were in pain.
It was like
during that time.
In the height of the mess. Yes.
Oh my God. This is just terrible. This is a terrible story, by the way. Like, I'm just like, oh my God.
A complete shit show, like in every way.
And how's it feel like today?
So I don't wear the brace all the time. They had told me originally when I was at PT, like if you're at home, don't wear it. At work, it makes sense to wear it because you're running around a lot. And then it's just a reminder to be careful. But so starting this week, I haven't been wearing the brace at work. It feels pretty good. I mean, it has pain, but I cannot do a significant bend without it feeling tense. Without pain. Okay. Like I tried to get on the floor to wrap presents to put under the tree and it's impossible. And it's really hard to get up because, you like squat and stand up and I can't do that. So,
okay.
But it's not the same level of pain. It doesn't feel unstable. I mean, unstable. I can talk. Just making up words over here. For a while, it felt unstable. Like if I didn't have the brace on, it would buckle. It felt like it was weak. All of that is gone, which is good.
Okay. But does PT, when you're in with the PT, are you in pain doing the exercises?
Yeah, it depends on the exercise.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's better. I mean, they were having me do straight leg extension, like super simple. And that was like torture to do that at first. Engaging the quad to lift the leg, it was really rough. And now it's not bad.
Okay.
So it's not, obviously the strength is still not great, but, there's definite progress. It's just so slow. I'm like, is that the injury? Is that like, I'm getting old? Like, what is that?
It's the injury.
Yeah, it's just,
I think it's the injury.
Yeah. We'll go with that too. I'm happy to go with that.
Oh my God. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
We miss you so much in class. And I just feel like it was just a freak accident. And it just sucks because it takes 2 seconds to hurt yourself. And then so much longer to get better.
So
it's just
true.
with every injury.
It's so true.
With every injury. It sucks. It's just, and I think there's going to be a lot of people out there relating to this story, even if they haven't had the exact injury that you have, because we are not a patient bunch. Thank you so much to Erin for being here and for being vulnerable and sharing with us a very, very personal story of yours. And to my listeners out there all over the world, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in and being with me this first year. This show is the end of season 1. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas and New Year's, and we'll start season 2 up in early January. Thank you again for being with me. Without you guys, this would not have been successful. And I look forward to bringing more stories to the forefront. If you would love to be on the podcast, please reach out to me. Carrie@wrapyourheadaroundsilks.com is my email address. You can always reach me on Instagram @CarrieWe1. Thank you so much to Asa Watkins for post-production. And check the show notes if you'd like to register for the free mini course by Wrap Your Head Around Silks. And if you would honor me with a 5-star rating and a review anywhere you get your podcast, it really helps this community grow. Thank you again for being here. This is the Expecting Aerialist podcast. Generally, 1 second. Bean! Push the door.
I was going to say, I hear the bean.
Yeah.
Oh,
Come on. Come in. Hi, you want to say hi to Erin? Come here. Come on. Oh, hi. Okay. Say hi. Oh, now she's shy.
Hi, sweet girl.
Check. 1.
Yes, we're doing a podcast. So I would always like to test the mic. I'd be like, check, 1, 2, 3, check the mic. And then so now she says, check, 1, 2, 3, check, 1, 2, 3.
So cute.
Baby down.
You're so cute, Bean. You can't help it.